All right, hi everyone. This is Matt Franco. Today I'm interviewing Ryan Richards. And Ryan, today my question is regarding the biggest failure you've ever experienced, whether that be travel, academic, dating, etc. Just what is the biggest one you've experienced in your lifetime?
Well, it's a lot of L's I've taken in my life, a lot of mishaps, a lot of blank moments in my head. But if you will allow me to give two, they kind of intertwine with each other a little bit.
Of
But the
course.
first one was this past summer. The last time we connected, we definitely had a um, that I do a sports podcast with the Streetball World in New York City. Um, and basically what happened was call it the Final Four, the conference finals day, where the Final Four teams go against each other, and then the next day would be the championships. My camera was stolen after the Final Four. Um,
Hmm.
so basically, the way the day went down was we record, action packed game, crowd went crazy. I already know. I'm already thinking in my head like, oh, what the highlight reel is gonna look like. And I get in my car with my two friends, drop one off. He used one of my cameras, but he went and took that. I knew that. Um, and I had another friend in the car, dropped him home, and then I was just by myself in the car. And when I looked back in the car, the camera was there. I ended up going to a friend's house and then another gathering. And then after the gathering, I realized that it was not there. I get to my car, I look back, I look in the back seat just to, as a refresher, like I'm like just like my daily checklist. So I look back, no camera there. I'm like, there was a whole bag there, and then it was bad. It was tough because I ended up not being able to not being able to record the next day for the championship game. I wasn't able to get that on footage, and I really wanted that on footage because I was never able to finish a season in Street Bowl since starting in 2021. In 2021, I was able to do games 1 and 2, but not for game three. Excuse me, for a different park. And in this park, I got so close to the chip, didn't get to record it and interview guys for it. And plus, it wasn't even my camera.
Oh,
Uh, it was my friend's camera that wasn't there for the day, but he lent me the camera to do what we have to do on a regular basis. Um, that hurt me bad because I'm still trying to pay it back in terms of getting us another camera so that when this summer comes around, we have better equipment and better tools. But that's definitely on the top of my list. Like that still haunts me to this day, like badly. Like it's just I don't like losing technology, especially someone else's work.
no, I understand. And I know you just mentioned in the previous time we talked that street ball and just the art of just becoming, you had to like gain a lot of connections to get in there. This
Mm-hmm.
might not be the best look in that regard, but how would you maybe work on rectifying, or rather, did you lose any connections there, or did this hurt you in any way in terms of
I mean, it
potential?
hurt because the only way it hurt was more so people expected me to be there for the chip. I was there for the playoffs, every game of the playoffs. I was there most of the regular season in terms of times that I could make it. Um, it only I didn't really lose connection. It was just a big question mark for me because um I was drinking that night when after I dropped everybody home and went to a gathering with a friend. But it's not like I was like drinking to the point where I couldn't remember what I did. I know I locked my car when I got to the gathering, and I know that the only thing that I can't recall is when I got back in the car. Was it in the car when I first got in the car, or was it in the car after I dropped off another friend home? That is one part that I can't remember. And but in terms of connections, the street ball world still, loves me. We still, I still was able to do work. I even rented out a camera from Best Buy with a friend's credit card just so I can finish out the summer with the other tournament that I was trying to get footage of. So it was hard, man. Like I didn't lose any connections, but it definitely made me look at everything a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. How's the process been in terms of getting a new camera?
It's been hard because even though it's not my camera that I'm buying back, it's a friend's camera. It's more so there's a lot of different bills being paid, a lot of different things going on. It's not like he can't buy it himself, but I just don't want him to buy something that technically he didn't lose. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's how I am, prideful wise and all of that. So I rather put some money towards it, and it just every time I get money, I lose money. And by I would lose it, I mean I got to spend it on something else or something more important at the time. Um, but we know what kind of camera we want because we've test driven other cameras. But uh, it's just hard. It was definitely hard. But yeah, we're gonna get back. We vowed to make sure we have that camera replaced by the time the summer starts. So
And I'm assuming the summer is the next season.
yeah, that's kind of how the street ball scene works. It's every summer. Of course, street ball is more summer oriented because of the nice weather. But in terms of those, so let's say street ball scenes for most major tournaments starts June, ends about early August ish or late July, about 8 to 10 weeks, depending on the tournament. And after that, from about late August to early May, during that whole time period of those months, everybody's just retooling, trying to get better, and either players trying to get better, leagues trying to get better in their structure.
Mhm.
Uh, there's winter leagues that go on, but I haven't been a part of any. I've tried to focus on the high school in terms of going to different high schools and seeing young guys try to make a name for themselves. This is definitely a hot time for that. They're about to go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, in these months, it's more about honing the craft, being better for next year because everybody knows once it gets to May, and they know that that hot weather is here to stay. It's like okay, that means street ball is here, and then that means everybody got to be on point down to the players, the coaches, the commissioner of leagues, and us as cameramen that want to get the best footage. We got to make sure we are equipped for the environment. Extra batteries, all that stuff.
And what goes into the process of filming a street ball game? Like what kind of angles do you have to get, or the editing process as well?
Oh, the editing process is crazy. Only because my setup is different from everybody else. So for example, most videographers or content creators out here or in general, they use one camera because they're one person.
Right.
I was able to bring out two cameras at a time. So basically, if one angle doesn't get the action, the other angle is supposed to get the action.
Mm-hmm.
I usually do it. Let's say just picture an NBA court or a regular street ball court.
Of course.
Me and my guys are walking baseline. Not well, this is baseline. We're walking on the sideline. So as the play moves up this way, me and him are moving up that way, and vice versa. It's always just it's like a constant rotation of cameras. If I'm not in the play, the other cameraman has to be in the play in terms of getting the best angle possible. And that's kind of what from differentiated me from different content creators in the street ball industry because everybody's using one camera. I'm somebody that has a different angle at all times. So that kind of separated me, and that's kind of where my platform also blew up. In terms of the editing process, before it used to be real bad. I used to just try to match up certain buckets from both angles and then put it onto the timeline and edit it. But now for me, through trial and error, I realized I can sync up these two or these multiple clips with audio. And by audio, I mean like there's always a play-by-play guy.
Okay.
There's always somebody on the microphone. So that allows me to synchronize the footage with audio. And then now I just got to move it like a switcher board, like it's live television, and just switch between whatever camera that best suits the play at that moment. So I went through the trial and error of a rough editing session while also um being able to just do a couple buttons and then get on with the editing, cut out 3 4 hours, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's all very interesting. Listen, I'm sorry about the camera, but hopefully you get everything back to speed and you're good to go by May. So best of luck
Yeah,
getting there.
hopefully we get that camera. I need that camera.
Oh yeah.
Need that.
All
Need that.
right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, so I guess we'll flip the script.
Mhm.
I'm here. Ryan Richards is here with Matthew once again. We'll just get straight into it. What's been one of your bigger failures in life? A time where you just either were down bad or you took a loss and you had to do things differently.
Yeah, of course. So like you said, I had a ton of these as well, but the one that sticks out to me the most really is following my 4 years of college, where I
Mhm.
was studying a business and I was a bunch of my friends and everyone's getting their jobs and placements in different positions, and even with hundreds of applications to various different places, I didn't have any luck. And I graduated, I enjoyed my time there. I got all the good grades. I did whatever I needed to do, but it just didn't swing my way. I'm thinking maybe I could have done a little bit more. Maybe I should have joined this club or this activity, whatever. Maybe I should have done a different major. And I graduated in May, and From the time I graduated, basically through the entire summer, I was just working at my local town's pizzeria, like just, making pies and doing
Hmm.
deliveries and stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, is this really it? Like, did I go to college just to come back home and do this? And it was just a rough time, just when you really, not only was it like just a distinct, like, I guess, failure in the sense that I didn't have a job out of college, but also I just felt like one as well. It's a little bit tough when you don't have the same opportunities that some of the other people you graduated with do. Eventually, I was lucky enough, I found a position later in, I want to say September, I started, where I was able to, quit the pizzeria job. And it's a position I've actually been with since I graduated. But just those first couple of months of, doing pizza deliveries and staying with the parents after 4 great years of college and expecting to go into the business world really was definitely a big shot to the chest, that's for sure.
So as a follow-up, it's kind of a two-part follow-up. But I'll be brief. One, what was your major? What were you trying to be professionally? And number two, did you think your undergrad properly prepared you to get into that space?
Yeah, of course. So I did sport management and marketing as my dual major. I just wanted to get into the sports world regardless. So I'm like, you know what, I'll do a little sports business. I'll try to combine the two. And I had some internships in that department, and I thought that experience would help me get sporting jobs. I went through a couple of processes for them. I had a job that I turned down about a week or two prior to getting my one I'm at now, which was just purely pay based. I think it was a ticket selling job with like the Devils or something, where it was basically all commission at a very low base. So I didn't bother with that. But in terms of preparation, I would say they have like a career center is what it's called at the university. I would say that prepared me very well. I mean, it's kind of hard to distinguish yourself from hundreds of thousands of other, people who've had the same background as you, the same education as you, or very similar ones. So I would say they prepared me to the best they could. I mean, it would be obviously better, in some departments such as like accounting or finance, they'll automatically like, line up interviews for you and they'll get you placements and just get you kind of in the world. But they kind of left you up to yourself in this department. They're like, we'll get you the classes, we'll get you the name recognition of the school, and then from there you're on your own.
Hmm. So in terms of being on your own, what we usually when guys come out of college, it's that rush to send out as much applications as possible, and let's see who's the lucky winner, and then hopefully go from there. What was one of your dream jobs coming out of college? Like, where was a place that you wanted to be like, okay, I want to be there if everything goes right?
Yes, I mean, right now, I guess when I was in college, I mean, when you go into it, you're going into sports business. The dream is always NBA, NFL, whatever. But when I was my sophomore into my junior year, I had an internship with the USTA, U.S. Tennis Association, and I fell in love with working there. Like everything worked out perfectly for me. I was able to work at the Open, just all these big events those 3 months there were some of the best I've ever worked. And I had this idea in my head that, oh, once I get out of college, like I'm gonna reconnect with the people that I worked with there. And, I'm going to keep
Mhm.
those connections. And then my old supervisor moved on. I lost that connection. And just overall, there wasn't really a lot of opportunity there. Like the positions weren't open by the time I got out. And I've still been trying to apply to get back in there. But, in that moment, it was kind of deflating because I thought, oh, this is my in. This is how I get into the sporting world, into a sport that I love to watch and love to play. And it just didn't end up.
So why you do you think that was a depressive state where you went those 2 months, or were you able to learn something about yourself while being at that pizzeria making pizzas in a space where you didn't feel like you should be or deserve to be in?
I would say both. I mean, in the moment, it was obviously very depressing. You're kind of doubting everything about yourself. Did I do good enough? Was so and so? Did I give enough at school? Did I join enough? But now looking back on it, I mean, I not that I prefer it. I would have rather gotten a job right away, but I don't hate my time there. It allowed me to kind of
Hmm.
calm myself and save up some money and overall just it built a little bit of character. I know it's more of a basic line, but not everything you have is given to you straight away, and I had to work a little harder to get where I wanted to be, even if it meant those couple of months that didn't really work out in my favor. So obviously, I wish I would have had better luck right away, but at the end of the day, I don't look back at that time with like bad memories or anything, even though in the moment it wasn't my best experience.
So I remember in the beginning you questioned if you were in the right clubs or the right amount of internships. Do you think it matters or is that important for people to be in internships in college, or whether it's college-based internships or something that they found while they were in college that propelled them to another job? How important do you think are internships to get that entry level job?
I think they're super important, not even in the sense that you just like have them, like do they look good on a resume, but just about the connections you make there. Because at the end of the day, the reason I'm in this position now is because I had a connection through another company. Like that's the only reason I was, given the opportunity, and I'm thankful for it. But in the sense that if I, kept this USTA internship, I would have been great there. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And my other internships in college were small time companies that didn't really have full time openings. Whereas some other people who interned with like bigger companies just had an in right away after they graduated. So, maybe if I had like better internships, which, in retrospect is hard to say because they're so difficult to get. But if I had an opportunity to work on one of those, that would have maybe been like a bigger company. I would have had a better chance. But I think it's definitely important just in terms of the connection.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. I think you've answered all the questions I need and
All right.
everything that I need to know. Thank
Perfect.
you for stopping by today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.